That's way too many words for me. I feel very humbly unequipped to speak at this gathering of such artistic people that are in front of me. I just happen to be very lucky in my life. Before I say anything, I got to acknowledge this young lady, Mannu. You know, I have known Mannu long time, long before VISAFF, and I've also known her sister and her brother. They were all volunteers at Mannkind. If you ever want to know something about a human being, find out what they did before they were in the spotlight. That's who they truly are. I will share with you whatever wisdom my white hair can produce here. And I have a few of those. And you know, just the other day, I was out, about a month back, I was hiking with a really nice, young, soulful man. And we were out in the mountains, and we had hiked a long time, and the sun was setting. And this young man asked a question. And obviously, you think somebody has gray hair, they might have an answer. So he asked me a question. He goes, "What is my purpose?" I said, "That's a big question." First thing I told him, I said, the purpose, and this we were discussing outside with a young man also, purpose is a need of your ego. You know, you have to understand that the purpose-driven life comes from your mind. And he said, then why am I here? What am I doing on this earth? And I said, look at the sun and look all around you. And the sun was setting and it was beautiful. You know, the sky is changing colors and it's becoming beautiful. He looked at it, looked around on the mountains, and then he said, okay, you know, what? I said, could you imagine Creator creating all of these beautiful sunsets, yet there was no eyes to see it? Can you imagine that? And for you to come here, you standing here is Creator experiencing that sunset through you. You provide the ears, the touch, the smell, the eyes to see the beauty of our existence. And that's very humbling when you sort of agree to look at yourself like that. That Creator, that who created this universe, is being creative through us, and it's expressing itself and seeing itself and is seeing the beauty and the splendor. And a lot of times we tend to associate beauty only with the good aspect. But there is even beauty in the low, the dark. Not so, there's beauty there. And artists and movie directors are the experts at making that seesaw between these two things, between light and dark, between evil and good. So that's what movie making is all about. And he and I also discussed, you know, we tend to separate Creator. God is Creator, universe is the Creator. And creativity, the process of creativity, in my humble opinion, is threefold. Basically, you have that person that chooses to create whatever, painting, whatever he likes. Then there is a second, the process of creating, and then that which is created. See, these are divisions that are necessities of our mind. But in actuality, these divisions don't exist. Existentially, these divisions do not exist. Creator has created this out of itself. And it is the created, it is a process of creating, and it is the creator. And once you sort of drop all of these imaginary lines between the process of creation, something beautiful happens, and you sort of get a little bit more in resonance with the universe. Then you're no longer cutting and separating. It's a unique thing to bring yourself into resonance with that divine energy that flows in all of us, the source energy or God energy, whatever you want to call it, whatever sort of suits your mentalness. That's the key. And I will just tell you this is, For a long time, I was in the process of creating my eye. And I created a strong eye. And when I first woke up out of the coma of ego and I and mine and have to do this, have to create this and that, the first thing you realize is that I've been given a lot of gifts and I must share them. I must share what has been given to me. And before I lived in the world of the things that I didn't have. But then I just had to open my eyes and realize, my God, I didn't even have to be alive. I didn't even have to be born. The fact that I breathe and I touch and I hear and I can see all of you guys, what a beautiful gift that is. So out of that came Mannkind Charitable Society. Why do I talk about that now? Is I think universe, God, existence, source, when you live a life, it gives you sensitivities. It makes you sensitive. What do I mean by that? A child, 7-year-old, 10-year-old, if their mother or father died from cancer, chances are that they're going to grow up try to be a doctor. And if they don't even become doctor and one day they become business people even, they will give to charities that are related to cancer. They will always have a soft spot. Somebody who as a child has had difficult times, and they will always be very sensitive to the plight of children. They shall always be sensitive to that. So eventually I came to Canada at a very young age and had to fend for myself. So obviously the charity that I have is dedicated towards children and environment. They're both very precious to me. Once I started the charity, out of this, I get a call from an Oscar-winning director, short film, Jeffrey Brown. And beautiful man calls me, he goes, I have this movie I want to make, but I can't get people to fund it. Why? The subject is very, very dark. And he was very honest, straight up. He goes, chances of us making money at this venture is very little. And we met. He was in Seattle. He was visiting Seattle, so we met in Bellingham. And I said, he showed me the subject, and they had made a trailer for it. And I said, yes, it's a story about a Nepali girl that gets sold into brothels in Calcutta. And it's deeply rooted in reality. You don't think that happens, but we have a charity now that works in Nepal. There are villages in Nepal where the girls over the age of 12 no longer are there. What is a village that doesn't have a girl in it that is 12? The village is made with feminine beauty and music and all of that. So that's what has happened. So we felt like it needed to be shown. I'm very blessed, was very blessed. The business was very kind to me. And I said, okay, we will do this. And we had a chance to go to Calcutta when the movie was being filmed in the brothels. We had to film it under a totally different name, which a lot of people don't know, because if he had filmed under Sold, we didn't want what happened to Deepa when she was filming Water. So similarly, we just called it Flight, and we didn't want it to be sold that this is a connotation, because we rented and it had to be an old brothel and all that. Met beautiful people, beautiful artistic people. So I will sponsor movies that sort of help, and we didn't make any money on the movie. I can tell you that, But I got a chance to meet Gillian Anderson, she is a fantastic lady. We visited brothels. We visited all sorts of things that are happening, and we are trying very hard to work in Calcutta also. And but it's a unique thing, because I will only finance projects that help shine a light in dark recesses of human mind and human culture, And this thing happens way outright. My wife, myself, Gillian Anderson, and we all one night said, we're going to go to Kalighat. And Kalighat is in Calcutta, is the brothel capital. Soft estimate is that in Calcutta there's 4,000 to 5,000 prostitutes, but that number is severely understated by the government. There is children as young as 10 years old that get sold in these things. And it was surreal because I walked in there, I could see a temple, and I could see the young ladies outside. There's a man doing puja, those symbols, they're doing this, but yet right next door, the children are being done. The movie was very difficult to make. I cried. Filming it, I know Jeffrey cried, I cried. To film a rape scene where a young girl is raped multiple times on her second and third night while she is drugged is a horrible thought, but it had to be presented. It had to be told. Whether or not it inspires one person or not, I leave that up to the divine. That's up to somebody to do something. This was in our hands to do it, so we did that. I will encourage you all to make movies that rhyme, that resonate with your consciousness. And hopefully I can stay committed to that aspect also, and we look forward to doing more. And I thank you all. Thank you.